Hello there and welcome to this studio tour or studio and update tour. I haven't shown you my studio, I don't think so anyway, so I'm going to show you a little bit about my studio. I've previously told you that the studio is basically outside, and I'm going to show you that now by filming the wall. I'm going to zoom in here, and now I'm going to change the aperture so that you can see what's actually outside, and you can see there's snow there, so you can literally see outside from the studio. So this is on top of a barn, and there is sort of the set, the main set. There's a tripod, here's a bunch of boxes, and on top of the boxes is another box with a glass lid. I'm going to make a video about that because that's my very cheap teleprompter. I haven't built it, but I bought it from IKEA, so I'm going to make a video about that. It's been working fine, and it's cheap, relatively speaking. And here we have sort of the set with the beam on top where I can mount my green screen, and above, in front of that, I have some curtains, and I have more curtains here because those two curtains that I have there doesn't fill the whole frame, and when I'm going to build the computer here, I need to have a wider shot because I want to see everything. And there's two lights, vertically mounted normal tube lights that I have found lying around, so I've hooked them up, and they are basically for lighting the green screen, but I don't use the green screen very much, but I have one. And here's the main key light. It's a Godox 150, SL150. I'm not very happy with it because it's a bit too loud, so I've been meaning to, I bought fans that are quieter. I haven't gotten around to change them, but I'm going to do that sometime. I mean, it's a good value when I bought it, but you can buy, for the same amount that I bought this one, you can buy lights that have the same amount of light power, but is quieter or something to that effect. But that's the main key light softbox. And here is the preparation for the next video about cramming out as much storage out of the current hardware. So this is the motherboard that's already assembled. So I'm going to mount it in this case, and I couldn't do that last week because it was so damn cold, and now it's much warmer. And here I've got the 4 drives that's going to be mounted again in the case, and here's the brackets. You're going to help me with that. I don't know if I need that for those 4, but anyway, I've invested in C-stands, so I've got 2 nice C-stands and sandbags because that's the responsible thing to do. I also got some other sort of cheaper light stands there, and yet another cheap light stand there with the YN216 lamp. I think I'm going to make a video about that one because it has been very helpful. Oh, some other stuff that I've been buying in order to make this studio update or thingy. I bought a purple lamp, and some more clamps because I didn't have enough, I thought. And I bought some LED strips, so I see if I can make something cool out of that. Make something cool out of the LED strips. So here on the floor is 2 rods. I'm going to mount the new curtains on, mount them up here diagonally between them, I think, so I get sort of a U shape, and across these beams from in the middle there to the middle there, I'm thinking of putting a beam or something, or maybe from that beam to that beam, so that I can have an overhead rig shooting down sort of like this. So I can have a second or third angle when I'm building the computer. So that's basically my setup. What else could I show you? Well, there's bits and bobs here. The power supply for the computer, some tools. Yeah, and down here we got a Lazy Susan I've been using for some product photos and videos. So you can turn this around. What else? Yeah, I got a skateboard, so you can make makeshift slider sort of. I've got real slider as well, but before I had one of those. Here's lots of sound dampening material. I don't know if you noticed, but you can probably hear both the lamp and maybe you can hear a car or truck going by because the road is just outside. And here's something that's also really cool that I've been thinking of making a video about. If you've been following me along, you know that my office is made out of straw bales. And here's the leftover straw bales. And also if you have seen one of my movies or contributing to No Marathon, I've been using this. Oh, sorry, it's very, very dark here. But I've actually been thinking of arranging them into a small soundproofing booth because they are extremely good soundproofing material. So I was thinking of sort of calling that video Redneck Audio Booth or something. But I haven't gotten around to it. There are lots of other stuff to do. I mean, YouTubing is not my main profession, it's just a hobby. So, what else should I show you? Yeah, this is rather cool. So, this is a very old barn, and on top of the roof there's some metal sheathing, so you can see that. But otherwise there's just these shingles, wooden shingles. Okay, so I'm going to use these curtain holders, but they're a bit dirty because they've been outside in the barn for quite a while. So I'm going to clean them a bit. Not that it's very important, but it's nice to try to keep things clean. I'm not really certain how I'm going to mount these on top of the beams, but we'll figure something out. I think so, at least. It's not going to be in shot anyway, so oh yeah, it becomes quite dirty. So, I think that's probably enough. So let's open this. That's not bad. I don't think so anyway. Hopefully these curtains also will help a little bit with the sound. It's like a cove now, yeah, like a C or a U shape. Down here I have a SL60 instead, a Godox SL60. You can't see it, but you probably can see the light now. Somewhere there, and that's great. Let's see. It's perfect because it's 25 millimeters from this distance, which means that I can use my 25 millimeter prime lens instead, if I would want to. And I probably would, because I mean Micro Four Thirds hasn't got that much of a... Okay, so now I'm sitting down, there's lots of headroom, the computer's here. What happens if yeah, I can actually stand up. Bit of headroom when I stand up. So this is a perfect framing. Great. Great, great, great. And now for some casual unboxing of this LED strip. Let's see. I really don't like these. I mean, they're homogeneously sealed, so that's probably good for the product, but it's a hassle getting into them. It's easy to get yourself cut on these hard plastics and stuff, but you need to have the IR receiver here. Like, okay, that's cool, but I like jumping. Cool. purple. Yeah, that's perfect. So finally I got purple. So that's awesome. That's just all. I wonder how bright this one is. It's only 30 lumens, so I don't think it's very bright, but maybe I can have it hanging in the background as a practical. I'm going to try that anyway. Okay, so I found this sort of thing to put this lamp in. This is an LED bulb with a big socket. Let's see. I was thinking maybe it can hang sort of just bare bulb because it's not very bright, this bulb. So let's see how it turns out. Okay, so I was thinking I was wanting to have it somewhere up there. Now it's time for overhead rig. I've made this sort of contraption. I'm going to screw it here so I can have an overhead rig. This is a bit janky, I know, but I think it's gonna be just fine. The general idea is I can put this, I have a quick release here and I can sort of put it where I need it to be. Put my camera here. Ideally I would have a bigger bowl or I don't know what it's called, a bigger thingy like this one. Tripod head, bowl head, something. I would probably need a big one. I've tried it with my G80 and it can hold it no worries. So. And since the camera is going to be over here, I probably need to move this beam a bit. I haven't fastened this beam, but it's heavy enough, so I think I can do it like this. And as you know, I have Panasonic cameras, so I can use this remotely with the Panasonic image app. So I think that will work very well. So I'm going to get the other camera and try some angles. I also need to mount this. I need some piece of wood stretches across and so I can mount this well. Yeah, so I'm pretty happy with this overhead rig. I think, yeah, it's going to be fine. Turn it. Yes, there's quite a lot of, it can support quite a lot of weight, and since I'm not going to touch it, it's not going to wobble anything because I'm going to remotely control when it's on and off. The trickiest question is probably if I have a lens that's the right focal length, but that's for later. Oh well, so I've been out shopping a bit because I figured out that I need electric wires everywhere, and I've got all of these cables going on the floor and it's a bit annoying. Also, I've been looking online for ways to mount my light more permanently, so I don't need to use my C-stands. Nothing wrong with the C-stands, they're great, but since I always have my lights basically in the same position, I might as well sort of bolt some holder there permanently. However, the brackets that I found online were very expensive. So at the hardware store I found these. They are not for holding lights, but they were sort of 1/10 of the price. They're not really ideal, but I can mount it like so on a beam. Yeah, like you can't see it, but I can mount it like so on a beam. And if this piece here is sort of in the way, I can always use an angle grinder to cut it off and make 4 new holes. And then I get basically a spigot to mount light on. However, this spigot piece is a bit too too thick, so I need to grind it or file it down somehow. So I'm going to do that soon. I bought 4 of these, so I'm going to do that fairly soon. And I'm going to mount them. I'm going to show you. So I was thinking of mounting it sort of like this. Not directly under the beam, that would be silly. So I was thinking of mounting it like that. And then I can mount my lights on top of that. And if that doesn't compute, I can put it here on this beam to get lower. But I think up there will be perfect. So in order to do that, I need to drill 4 holes on each of them and also file down about this much here. Maybe I can use the angle grinder or some tool, I don't know. I'm going to do that soon. I also bought some electric distributor and lots of these plugs, males and females. By the way, it's to hold these in place. I don't know if you can see the one that's up on the beam there. Yeah, you can. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. It's made for being bolted, but the other ones are not. So, well, that's about it. I'm going to do these. So I'm going to go to my workshop and file this down and drill some hole. And I'm trying to mount this. And after that, I hopefully have all the rigging that I need to actually start building my unrated server. Oh well. All right, I've been fixing this, so now I can mount this lamp here. It's a bit of a play, but it's that on the other ones as well. That's what this screw is for. All right, I'm back at the studio. I've been in my workshop. I don't know, not much of a workshop, but I've made this smooth and smaller so that it fits with one of the lamps. I'm going to try to screw it in place. Like so. I think it will hold. Can it hold me? Yeah, it can almost. It can hold lots of weight, no worries. So now I'm taking one of my SL60s, trying to fit it here. I wonder if it works. There's no problem, but the problem is I want them to be faced like that, I guess. So I wonder if it will stay, not sag. I mean, with just a reflector, no worries. Absolutely, but what happens if I try to put on this massive... yeah, that's going to be a problem because I just fixed this thingy here because I need the overhead rig. So this is probably too big. Okay. Oh, you can't really see it, but yeah, it stays in place. You can see the silhouette. Yeah, so it stays in place. Now it's going to get really dark, because I'm taking the cord from this one and feeding it to this one, like so. I think that's a win. So I can absolutely put another one up on the opposite side, depending on which side I want my key light or my fill light, because I've got a smaller softbox as well. This is actually almost a bit too big for this space. I mean, this is... Okay, so this one worked, well, it worked fine actually, no worries. The problem was the softbox is too big for this position. It's actually in the frame. Well, usually it's not in the frame, but since I've widened the set, I want to get a wider angle, then it's in the frame. So maybe it's it's too big, so maybe I need to change to the smaller one. Either way, I'm going to change this position so it gets up here. So I'll gain some height and some width. Mount this up here, like so. There is the set, level it up like so, and I want to have the table in the lower end of the frame. I have successfully managed to free myself of one of these C-stands, so I don't need to use this C-stand to have this softbox here, so that's perfect. Hello again. Now it's the second day in the morning, and the screwdriver's got a new fresh battery. Screw in this one. I made 2 of these last night. I was so tired, so I didn't make all 4, but I made 2 of them, and I'm going to mount this now. So I needed to cut the power in order to sort of mount the new electrical stuff. It's going to be super janky, but it's going to be all right anyway. So I'm going to mount it about there. Yeah, that turned out well. So I got a master studio switch here. So that's good. So now it's time to mount this one. Unfortunately, I was not really ready. I dropped the screw as well. So that's okay.